Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever wondered what it actually feels like to walk through a city that has literally outlived entire empires? Well, today, we're exploring a place that is not just a city, it's a living, breathing entity. We are heading to the western bank of the sacred river Ganga in Uttar Pradesh to uncover the spiritual capital of India. You might know it as Kashi or Benares or Varanasi. Millions of pilgrims, tourists, and researchers travel here every single year to experience this truly unique blend of faith, tradition, and history. Okay, let's dive into this. 3,000 plus years. The sheer staggering history of Varanasi stretches back over 3 millennia, and actually, many scholars believe the city is even older than that. According to ancient Hindu scriptures, Kashi was founded by Lord Shiva himself. It is literally one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on the entire planet. Just think about that for a second. For over 3 millennia, people have been waking up, living, learning, and worshiping in these exact same streets. To understand this ancient living organism, we're going to explore 4 main areas today. First, the ancient sacred waters. Second, temples, education, and faith. Third, culture, craft, and cuisine. And finally, modernizing the eternal city.
All right, Section 1, the ancient sacred waters. Let's start right at the spiritual core that defines Varanasi as the holiest city in Hinduism.
So, the crucial point is understanding the ultimate spiritual pursuit that draws thousands of pilgrims to this riverbank every single day. In Hindu belief, bathing in the river Ganga is said to wash away a person's sins. But there's a much deeper layer here, and that is moksha. Dying in Varanasi is believed to grant liberation from the endless cycle of birth and death. It fundamentally shifts how you view mortality. Here, death isn't hidden away, it's accepted as an open, deeply sacred part of daily life.
And because of this immense spiritual gravity, the city just remained a constant, while the rest of the world completely changed around it. I mean, the Mauryas, the Guptas, the Mughals, the British Empire, they all rose to power and eventually fell, but Varanasi, it just kept thriving. Throughout every single one of these historical eras, it remained a vital, buzzing center of learning where scholars gathered to study Sanskrit, philosophy, astronomy, medicine, and literature.
Now, the physical intersection of this daily life and ancient spirituality happens at the Ghats. There are more than 80 of these magnificent, stepped ghats lining the western bank of the Ganga. Imagine waking up to the sight of thousands of people gathering on these steps every morning as the sun rises over the water. You've got yoga, deep meditation, morning prayers, and serene boat rides all happening at once.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the incredible contrast of activities happening right next to each other. Down at Asi Ghat, for example, you have this vibrant, youthful energy. It's super popular with students, tourists, and yoga enthusiasts. Then you have Dashashwamedh Ghat, which is famous for the grand, visually stunning evening Ganga Aarti. But just a short distance away from all that, you have Manikarnika, one of the oldest cremation ghats, and Harishchandra, another vital cremation site. You have the vibrant energy of youth and the solemn, sacred rituals of death, all sharing the exact same riverbank alongside historic religious sites like Panchganga Ghat.
Moving on to Section 2, temples, education, and faith. Let's step up from the river now and move right into the structural heart of the city. The absolute pinnacle of worship in the city is the Kashi Vishwanath Temple. And this isn't just any temple. It is one of the 12 Jyotirlingas dedicated to Lord Shiva, who, like we mentioned earlier, is the legendary founder of Varanasi. The religious weight of this site is simply immense. Millions of devotees pour into this temple every single year, and the energy during massive festivals like Mahashivratri, Diwali, Dev Deepawali, and Ganga Dussehra is totally electric. Picture millions of devotees, endless oil lamps, and just a sea of deep echoing prayers. And you know, this brilliantly illustrates Varanasi's incredible spiritual diversity, because just 10 kilometers away from this major center of Hinduism is the town of Sarnath. Sarnath is the exact site where Lord Buddha delivered his very first sermon after attaining enlightenment. Think about how incredible that is. The epicenter of Hinduism and one of the absolute holiest sites in Buddhism are just 10 kilometers apart, sharing the exact same cultural air, making this a massive global pilgrimage site for multiple faiths. Let's move to and see how this builds into an incredible intellectual legacy. Varanasi pairs its ancient religious studies with modern academics perfectly. For centuries, students came here purely for religion and philosophy. But in 1916, Pandit Madan Mohan Malavia founded Banaras Hindu University, or BHU.
Today, it is literally one of India's largest and most respected universities, with world-class faculties in science, medicine, engineering, agriculture, and law. It seamlessly complements the city's ancient Sanskrit universities and libraries that are still preserving India's ancient knowledge today.
All right, Section 3, Culture, Craft, and Cuisine. We're going to shift our focus from the sacred and the academic to the deeply sensory heartbeat of the city.
Varanasi is widely regarded as a birthplace of Hindustani classical music. If you walk through the city during a traditional festival or a Ram Leela performance, you are quite literally walking through the echoing legacy of musical giants. We're talking legends like Ustad Bismillah Khan, Pandit Ravi Shankar, Girija Devi, and Kishan Maharaj. The melodious sounds of classical singing, the rhythmic beat of the tabla, the strum of the sitar, and the enchanting call of the shehnai are just woven into the very fabric of the city.
And visually, the city is just as rich. Varanasi is internationally famous for its Banarsi silk saris. These are hand-woven by highly skilled artisans using fine silk and incredibly intricate gold and silver zari work. If you've ever seen a beautifully woven Indian wedding garment, there's a very high chance you're looking at Banarsi silk. But this isn't just fabric, right? It's a centuries-old craft, providing a vital lifeline and employment to thousands of families, representing one of India's absolute finest traditional handicrafts.
Okay, and of course, we absolutely cannot talk about the sensory experience of Varanasi without talking about the food. If you wander through the narrow, chaotic lanes, you just have to let your nose guide you. You'd start with the savory crunch of kachori sabzi and tomato chaat, enjoy the really rich flavors of bhakti chokha, warm up with the frothy delight of malayo if you're there in the winter, and you absolutely have to finish with the iconic Varanasi pan. It is a full-blown culinary adventure hidden right there within those little tea stalls and traditional eateries.
Which brings us to our final pillar, Section 4, Modernizing the Eternal City. How exactly does a 3,000-year-old living organism handle the very real realities of modern urban development?
Well, imagine trying to place state-of-the-art smart city tech right on top of a 3,000-year-old grid. It sounds crazy, but in recent years, the city has undergone remarkable infrastructural upgrades. The massive Kashi Vishwanath corridor was recently constructed to directly connect the famous temple to the ghats of the river Ganga, which vastly improves access. On top of that, you've got the expansion of the Lal Bahadur Shastri International Airport, new smart city projects, modern railway stations, redevelopment of the ghats, and way better highways.
So it's really the ultimate high-wire balancing act. On one side, you have the improved cleanliness, the better roads, and the modern tourism facilities making life more convenient. But on the other side, this living organism faces immense pressure. The government and everyday citizens are constantly working to address river pollution, heavy traffic, and those incredibly dense old city areas and complex waste management. Plus, there is this constant, vital need to preserve ancient buildings and protect traditional crafts, like those silk weavers we just talked about, from being lost in the rush of modernization.
Ultimately, Varanasi is not merely a relic. It is a living, breathing symbol of India's civilization. It's a place where ancient faith and modern reality don't just collide, they coexist. It uniquely harmonizes its sacred waters, majestic temples, and classical music with a very real, fast-paced future. Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought. How will this eternal city shape its next 3,000 years? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious.